True Talk.
Hello everybody, True here, your Million G Gamer, and welcome to another video. This one's going to be very, very different to what I normally do. It's going to be a talkie video. Gameplay footage is just there, just for background. It's going to be a very personal video, as I've said. It's going to be talking about how much you guys do help me. Some of you won't know that I do have a lot of health issues. And making YouTube videos and now doing Twitch as well is actually incorporated into my pain management plan by my pain management consultant. And I think for you guys to just fully appreciate how much you help me by watching the videos, if you thumb up, thumb down them, basically it's interaction with the videos. Whether you subscribe or not, I mean, if you do, it's great. If you don't, like I say, just by watching the video, you've helped more than you'll probably know. But this is more like a thank you video to you guys, and also just to explain how thankful I am that you do watch or participate or interact with myself through the videos, or whether you stop by my Twitch stream. Just really to give you some background so you can understand how thankful I actually am to you guys. Now, I adopted the policy since my life changed 10 years ago of being open and honest with people. I've had to discuss my health issues with various strangers, with work colleagues, health practitioners, even people who aren't health practitioners for various reasons. So I have no qualms about discussing anything with anybody, but there's quite a lot to go through, so I'm going to have to just go through them as briefly as possible. Otherwise this video is going to go on for an awful long time. I'll focus a lot on the first one that happened, because that is the day my life did change forever. It's 10 years. It was 10 years ago this month, and that's what prompts this video, really. 10 years ago, a few days ago, actually. What happened was I got up for work, as I did every morning. I was the first person up, or was the first person up at that time anyway. Had breakfast, did everything as per normal, ready to go out the door, put the breakfast bowl in the sink ready to be washed up, and noticed a crisp packet on the side of the counter. I vividly remember this because that crisp packet changed my life. In effect, it was a Walker's French fries salt and vinegar flavour. I decided to put it in the bin. It was one of those flip bins. It was a yellow flip bin. One of those with the kind of like swing kind of lid things when you press them and the lid kind of flaps backwards and forwards. So I just reached my hand in, dropped the packet, went to stand back up, and there was this almighty audible crack, and I yelled out in so much pain. It was unreal. It woke the entire house, and I couldn't move. It was very scared. I was scared. I was in pain. I just could not stand up. I was stooped over in this kind of like hunched position, not able to straighten up. I couldn't move my legs. I could move my hands, my arms, my hands, but I could not move my legs. I couldn't move. I couldn't straighten up. Obviously, after being woken up, people came down pretty sharpish, and it was very difficult for me to explain what happened because I was having difficulty talking at that point because it was hurting so much. It was as if somebody had just wedged a crowbar into my spine and was just prizing away, trying to pop something out that didn't want to come out. And every time I moved, it felt like grinding was happening instead of the normal movement you'd expect. It was like the signal was going from my brain to move, but it just wasn't responding in the way that it should. It just wasn't working. And I say I'm going to try and keep these as brief as possible because I don't want the video going on too long. But the hospital was called. They couldn't attend straight away because it was deemed a non-medical emergency. Thanks, NHS. You do a great job, but thanks in that situation. But by the time they eventually arrived, the pain had managed to subside a little bit, and I managed to be able to move a little bit as well, which was obviously promising. I managed to get onto the sofa and laid down into a more comfortable position. And they took me to the hospital. Did scans, what's not. They said it was just a minor back injury, that they couldn't really find anything as such, which was I found a little bit odd. They basically, after about 12 or so hours, packed me home with some sheet of painkillers, a sheet of ibuprofen. It was slightly stronger ibuprofen than you can buy over the counter in the UK. And packed me off home and said, take those, contact your GP, and they'll get you referred to a physiotherapist. So managed to get to the GP somehow. Christ knows how I managed to do that, because the painkillers were doing absolute jack. They were doing nothing. You know, I may have been eating Smarties, taking Smarties. They was just doing absolutely nothing for it whatsoever. But it was gradually getting better, but you know, ever so slightly. But it wasn't as bad when it first happened. But I was still in excruciating pain, moving, anywhere at that time. But managed to get to the doctors. They sent me to the physio. Sessions of physio for about 4 months. Eventually was able to return to work. 3 months later, it happened again. Happened at work this time. So they had to get me to the hospital, and basically same thing. They said it's a reoccurrence of this minor back injury, but they didn't really I haven't got any of the scan information that they did, but they said it was this minor back injury at the time, and I wasn't happy with that. I wasn't happy, because I thought, why is it happening again? If it's a minor back injury, why is it happening again after all this time when it got better? If it was minor and it had healed, then surely it shouldn't happen again. That was my thinking behind it anyway. But what can you do? How can you challenge these medical people? I was thinking at that time, the diagnosis, they're the ones who've done all the training. They're the one who know what they're talking about. But anyway, same thing happened. Sent home again. Back to the GP. Re-referred to the physiotherapist. Do some more physio. Sorted itself out quicker this time. Back to work again. A month later this time. Happened again on the way to work. Just before I left the house, fortunately, because if it had happened as I was walking down the street, then it had been a bloody nightmare situation. But yeah, happened again. It did. This time, not as bad in terms of the pain, but the recovery was going nowhere this time. So I didn't go to hospital this time. I managed to get straight to the GP, who referred me back to the physiotherapist. But the recovery just wasn't working. It just wasn't what he was doing. Just wasn't having it. And I was imploring with them to please send me for another scan. I said I'm not happy with my diagnosis here. It's happened 3 times now. If it's minor, why is it happening 3 times? Surely it shouldn't be happening anything. So I managed to convince him to send me for a scan. They sent me for a MRI scan, which I hadn't had before. I don't know what the hell the scan they did at the hospital with me originally, but it wasn't an MRI. Because the MRI one's like the Smarty tube one that you go into, like a very claustrophobic tube, and you hear the magnets banging away at you, and you've got to stay in there for about 15, 20 or so minutes. It's it's a very surreal experience. If you've got claustrophobia, you'd really struggle with it. But yeah, I had one of those done anyway. And I wish I'd pulled the report out, but we've recently packed it away for reasons I'm going to go through with you in a second as well. Packed all the medical documentation I've got away, so I can't give you the exact diagnosis, but they basically discovered a disc bulge, which is basically the membrane that surrounds your disc, which protects the disc, has split, and the disc has popped out of this membrane and basically pressing on parts that it shouldn't be pressing on, which is what causes the pain, as does the membrane trying to heal around the disc, which is protruding from the place it should be, and in the gap that the disc should be in, it forms this poisonous fluid in your body, which again inflames the disc and inflames the membrane, which in turn causes more pain. So yeah, they diagnosed me with that, which obviously now with a proper diagnosis, they could see it was more serious than a minor back injury. There was something else as well. It was something else had gone wrong. I wish I'd got the paperwork. I can't remember what it was, but they couldn't operate on it. But they could operate on it. They said there is an operation available, but it's like 60-40 chance that we would make it worse. I said, how is that? How worse is worse? Basically not being able to walk. So I thought, 60-40 chance of not being able to walk? No, thank you. I thought I will just take the lot that I have and manage it the best I can, because the odds were not in my favour that this was gonna improve things. It was 60-40 that it was gonna be worse than what it was. I just wasn't prepared to take that risk. I probably wouldn't even be able to take. I wouldn't have even took the risk if it was 50-50. It was just not worth it. I would rather have pain and some mobility than no mobility at all, and probably still pain as well, from what they told me. So anyway, I've just noticed I've been rambling on about 10 minutes, 12 minutes about this already, but that's basically the origin, the start of the issues. So I have that back issue, which daily basis, even with really strong painkillers, painkillers that are quite dangerous, painkillers that if I take an overdose of them by accident, I will probably die. And I can't even drink alcohol with them because it could increase my heart rate so much that I would have a heart attack. So yeah, they're pretty strong shit. So we're managing by taking those, doing regular physiotherapist, and now in later years, bringing up more present day, because this was 10 years ago, bear in mind, it was about 8 years ago by the time they diagnosed me, so it took about fucking that long to do with waiting for hospital appointments and scans and whatnot. That deal with it by a pain management consultant as well, so that's how I deal with that problem. I did manage to return to work with it, but then another problem reared its ugly head. I started having, again, open and honest here, guys, I'm not embarrassed in any way. If you feel uncomfortable listening to this, then I can't do anything about that. That's just I just say it as it is. I started developing an incontinence problem. Didn't know why, but it was causing big problems because due to my back problem, my mobility is severely reduced. I couldn't move very fast, so when I needed to urgently go to the bathroom, I couldn't get there in time, because it's not as if I could sprint across the house to the bathroom, or at work sprint across to the bathroom in urgent need, because I can't move that fast anymore. Because if I do, there's likelihood that my disc will pop out and cause an awful lot of problems and an awful lot of pain. So anyway, trying to wrap this up as a long story short, I had a colonoscopy, an endoscopy, a bile study, this other scan which I can't remember the flaming name of. Everything came up fine apart from the bile study. They said that was a borderline pass, so there could be something read into it there. And they then concluded that because my body had been under so much pain constantly for a period of, at that point, it would have been about 3 years-ish, 3.5 years-ish by the time all these tests and scans were done and everything, and cameras cameras in the mouth, down the throat, up the backside, and whatever were all done to discover if there was a problem. The time when that was done, we were probably at the 3 years, maybe a bit longer point of things, because my body had been under a amount of pain due to my back for so long. My body had reacted in this way, and they said that they've come about past cases of this happening, where due to the body being under constant pain, the body manifests other conditions, and they say they don't know why it does it. So it's one of the things they don't understand why it does it, but they put it down to that, basically, because they'd exhausted every other avenue of why it was happening. There was nothing mechanical why it was happening. There was no issues, there was no defects in my system anywhere like that. They just put it down to a purely mental thing that my body had generated because of the constant chronic pain that I was under. So that was managed by medication, which helps, kind of. It buys me. It doesn't really help in the things happening. It just helps with more time to react to things happening, if that makes any sense. So yeah, managed by medication again. Unfortunately, the combination of the back and this problem did bring an end to my job. Couldn't work any longer. So that was that, unfortunately. Then, moving a couple of years forward, another problem developed itself. We found a lump down below. You know where I'm talking about. And I will urge people that if you do find anything on your body, this is male and female listening, a lump, anything like that, get it checked out, guys. Honestly, just please get it checked out. Do not bury your head in the sand. You can be scared, you can be worried, and I understand the reaction of this isn't happening to me, I'm worried about it, I'll just ignore it, it's nothing. It could be something. Get it checked out by a medical professional. You know, we've all got the same bits and pieces. Don't be embarrassed. You know, if you have got something, ignoring it is not going to help. It's still there, and it's still going to do what it's going to do if it is something sinister. And it's best to know rather than not know, because if you do know, then you can get medical help and get it sorted out. Burying your head in the sand is the worst thing you possibly can do, not only for yourself but for your family and everybody else. Just urge you, if you do notice anything abnormal anywhere and you're concerned about it, just get down to your GP as quick as you can. Just do it. Just do not bury your head in the sand, guys. But anyway, and discovered the lump. GP got a scan. Scanned it, perfectly fine. Still having pain down there now. Got referred to another gynecological specialist. They found that it was a condition called varicocele, I believe it's pronounced, because I've not actually heard anybody say it other than the specialist I saw, and that was quite some time ago now. And it's basically varicose veins of that area of the body. I had a couple of operations to try and sort it out. Didn't sort it out. They've done everything they possibly could to minimise it. It's reduced the pain quite significantly, but there is still some pain there as well, which is again managed by. I mean, they would have given me the same kind of pain medication, a lesser pain medication than I take for my back. So there was nothing really they could do. So it was a case of having a really, really major operation, which could cause loads of other complications and issues. I decided against that and decided to just manage it through the medications that I was being given, and just decide to plow ahead with it, and just I was in pain anyway, on my left side because of my back. By the time they'd done the first 2 operations on it, the pain had reduced significantly, so it was still there, and it some days it was a little bit worse, but it was something I could deal with. But again, it was something that was still there, and still, you still could feel it, all the time. It was not like as if it was going away or anything like that. It was still present all the time. But in terms of the major operation I was offered, and again, the complications that could have arisen, and no guarantee it would have got rid of the pain or created new pain in other areas as a result of what could happen, I thought it's just best to just, again, stick with what you've got, stick with what you know, basically. So that was that. So skip all the way to 2 years ago now. 2 years ago this summer, I started to. I've realized I've been going for 20 minutes, but I say this is a video I feel I have to make. This is videos that I want to make, and it does help enormously, as you'll know if you manage to get to the end of the video. So yeah, skip to 2 years ago. I start getting pain in my chest, left hand side. So obviously think, oh, it's the heart, because I'd put on quite a bit of weight from the restriction in mobility that my back and the varicocele gives me. My mobility is not great. I can't walk very far without having to stop or rest for quite a period of time. So obviously that does an impact on the amount of exercise I can do, unfortunately. So I have put quite a significant amount of weight on. So automatic reaction, it's the heart. So I was getting right bad pain, so I went down to A&E. We got down to A&E, and they had scans of it and everything. Couldn't find anything majorly wrong. I had an ECG, which is an echocardiogram. They said it was a bit of a normal rhythm, but nothing to be concerned about. That could just be my normal rhythm, because they had nothing to compare it against. But they did refer me onto this specialist heart unit, a rapid response heart unit, which I would have to wait for an appointment for. So obviously not that rapid, but finally got to see those guys. Had a talk with them. They did another ECG, looked at it. They discovered I had something called a right bundle branch block, which apparently is quite common from what they say. And the guy wanted to send me for this exercise test, basically where you run on a treadmill and get your heart rate up while they monitor your heart, and it's basically a stress test of your heart, kind of, in effect. Obviously I couldn't do that because of my mobility issues, and obviously anything impact related was very, very bad for my back, so running is definitely out of the option. So they were able to medically induce that. So basically you imagine that you've run quite a long distance and your heart is going 10 to dozen, a lot of beats per minute and everything, but that's medically induced. They basically put a drip in your arm, and it is bizarre. You are laid down stationary, but your heart is going like the clappers, like you've just run the fastest 100 meters you've run in your life. It's such a surreal experience. It's really, really odd. But anyway, from that, they discovered that I have something called, let me get the pronunciation right for you. It's hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which apparently is a genetic heart condition. It's basically the thickening of the septum between the walls of the heart, and it's a genetic thing. So I've inherited it from one of my parents. And now my mother's been checked out for this, because all first party relatives have to be now checked for this genetic condition. So my sister's getting checked out in a few months' time, and hopefully she hasn't got it, because she's got a lot of children. So she has inherited it. Then each and every one of her children has to be tested for it, and their children as well, and so on and so forth. That's if they have it, and it's literally a coin toss if you have it or not. Now, it's one of these weird conditions. It causes, for me, it's causing discomfort in the left hand side, which is bizarre because everything else I feel discomfort on is my left hand side. My right side is having a right party over there, but by not being in any pain whatsoever. But the left has the upper chest area now, the lower back area, and obviously the lower area as well is in constant pain. So the right area must be having a right day. But yeah, it's a condition which apparently a lot of people may have and not even know they have, and it will not impact them in any way. But it is also one of these conditions that has a wide varying impact on different people. Some people don't know they've got it, and one day they could drop dead. It's literally that serious. Other people will be in between. Like I say, other people may not even know they've got it and live a full and fruitful life in the knowledge of not knowing they've even got it. Mine seems to be they're still diagnosing it. It's a long-winded diagnosis procedure of how severe it is, but they're kind of edging towards mine somewhere in the middle. So at the moment it is just being managed by medication, thinning my blood basically to allow more blood to go through the thickened heart valve. But it may require an operation to install something. Now, it wasn't a pacemaker, it was something else which I can't remember because they only just briefly mentioned it. But again, I'm waiting to go back to them in August to see what they've decided. So anyway, that's basically where I am with health conditions. That's the brief version of it, and that took 26 minutes to explain, guys. So if you have stuck around for this video, which is going to go on a bit longer because I've got more to say, then thank you very much. Basically, all these health conditions are managed through medications. I literally take, I think it's 28 tablets a day. I have 28 tablets a day. There's 8 different medications I take to manage these issues, and I also have to apply a topical cream to my back 3 times a day as well. And even with all that, I am still in a lot of pain and discomfort, though it's dulled down enormously if I stop taking them, and it ramps up to unbearable level. Day-to-day living, it affects my mobility. I can't walk even 100 meters without having to stop, so getting anywhere is very, very difficult. Sitting or standing for any prolonged periods of time is problematic unless I have special seating, which I now do have in various areas of the home, which helps enormously. But yeah, that leads on to managing the conditions. I'm under a pain management consultant. She's absolutely fantastic. I think I found one of the good ones out there. I've been under her for about 2 years now, it's coming up to, and part of the treatment plan is doing something you love to do, which was always video gaming for me. Video gaming, I've been doing it since I was 4, which was way back in 1981. I would have been 4. I played my first video game on the Atari 2600. It was either Combat or Space Invaders. I think it was Combat. But yeah, all those years ago, as I get a Sky News update that something serious has happened to somewhere in the world, say this is really unedited, so warts and all. So yeah, doing something you love is very important because it's enjoyable. It releases the chemicals in your brain for enjoying something. Is it endorphins or something? I don't know what it's called, but it releases the chemicals in your brain that you're enjoying, and they act as a natural painkiller and stop you from thinking about the, your problems that you have. And obviously, with my social restrictions that I have due to my health conditions as well, we try to incorporate that into things as well, and that's where YouTube and Twitch comes into it. Finally got around to that topic. And this is how you guys really help. Every time you watch, every time you comment, I get a kick from it, kind of, if in a way, that I've reached out and helped somebody, communicated with somebody. It helps me enormously to know that people are watching the content and enjoying it, liking it, interacting with it. And if you guys comment, that's even fantastic. Every comment you make is great. I do try to reply to the majority of them when I can. So even if you disagree with me, please leave a comment and tell me why you disagree with me. You know what I mean? We've all got opinions, and we all like different things. So if you disagree with if I like a game or dislike a game, let me know why. Let me know your experience about the game, and I will definitely respond to you, because this is why I'm doing these YouTube videos and more so Twitch now, to interact with you guys. So whether you like a video, dislike a video, if you sub, that's fantastic. If you don't, say it's not for the monetary reasons, because simply I don't monetize my YouTube channel, so it's not for that purpose. It's you're actually helping me on a day-to-day basis with my multitude of health issues, and that is absolutely fantastic. So you guys stopping by and interacting in any way, shape or form is truly outstanding. And that leads on to why there's not been a lot of videos of late in 2019. I used to do quite a few, like 2-3 videos a week. It's just this year's been a bad year for my health conditions. The back's flaring up a lot more than usual. I do get flare-ups where it's a lot worse than it normally is. And obviously, dealing with this relatively new condition, the hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, is quite a new thing, and the worry this has caused for my family on a more greater scale, like I say, because it's an inherited condition. My sister could have it. She's waiting for her appointment for a test to be done, and we're really hoping she's cleared of it, because if she isn't, then she's got 4 children, and 2 of those children have children of their own. So if she has it, it potentially impacts another 7 people if she has it. Where me having it only affected 1 other person. So it's it's that worry that's caused as well, on top of all the other health conditions as well, that it really helps when you guys do interact, because there's not only the physical side of these health issues as well, being in pain constantly every day. You do get days where you're on a real downer, and it's difficult to cope some days, difficult to get yourself motivated. And because the health conditions have been flaring up alarmingly this year, that's the main reasons I've not been doing as much YouTube. It's been more Twitch this year, because the amount of time it takes to put a quality video out, because I still like to put quality content out. I'm not one of these YouTubers like Crap Gamer, for example, who just pulls a load of nonsense out of his backside and just spews out a 3-minute video with 2 minutes of it just being introducing and thanking people, and then 1 minute of complete utter made up fiction. That's easy. Anybody can do that, and I don't want to do that. I want to be, even if nobody watches, I want quality content. I want to make a video, not just put a video out there. I want to make a video, I want to construct a video, I want to edit a video. And like I say, with the health conditions, you just get these days where the mental strain on you, you're just not motivated to do anything. You don't want to do anything. You don't even want to give people the time of day. Now, it's not only like the physical side of it, but it's just the mental side of it as well, dealing with those down days. And then every so often you get these appointments you have to go to, like you have to attend to the medical appointments and various other appointments you have to attend to. And then I've had a lot of those this year. Even though these medical appointments do, you're going there to get help, the anxiety they cause in having to travel, being worried if something's going to happen with the back, because even getting into, stooping down and getting into a car is very difficult. Even public transport is very difficult, because public transport in the UK is a pretty rough ride. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but it's like an off-road rally sometimes with the roads, and the suspension is not very good. And literally every bump of the road, my back, it's like a shockwave going up the back, and then it's horrible. Just the anxiety of thinking of going to these appointments it just gets on top of you sometimes. And you've got to go. It's definitely going to help you, but it's just getting over those barriers. And I have cancelled appointments in the past because I just can't face going to them, face the prospect of going to them, what can happen, and especially with the incontinence issues as well. It's like, where's the nearest bathroom facility, toilet facility, whatever. You need to plan it all out and everything, and you also can't go by yourself. You need somebody to go with you, so then you're inconveniencing someone else. It's a horrible situation, but what can you do? You haven't got to give into it. You've got to try and push past it and deal with it as best you can. And that's done by not closing yourself off from those around you. You need to talk to those nearest and dearest with you. And because of my mobility issues, my circle of social interaction is very limited. And that's why my pain management specialist suggested that I start doing the Twitch basically, in view that I was struggling with doing my YouTube. So that does help enormously, and obviously it's doing two birds with one stone, really. It's doing the thing I mentioned that I love to do, which is play video games, and it's also having that social interaction as well with people. And unlike YouTube, it doesn't come with all the other bells and whistles that come with it. Like, you have to do the editing and the construction of the video and stuff like that. You just literally play a video game and talk. So that's why I've been mainly focusing this year on the Twitch side of things. So if you didn't know I have a Twitch, it's down in the description there. It's my username's True Marvelous again. And I do stream each and every night from 8 PM to around about midnight. It's like a 3.5 hour, 4 hour stream each and every day. Sometimes I'm a bit late coming on through various issues and stuff, but you normally get a good 3.5 hour stream out of me. Similar games that I feature on the YouTube channel, so if you're interested in any of those, then feel free to stop by, because that's what I am focusing on mainly at the moment. Also got the issues of at the moment as well, where the house is in the next month is going to undergo a massive renovation. We're having a new heating system put in. We're having the house fully rewired, having a new kitchen, a new bathroom. It's it's crazy the amount of work that's going to have to be done in this house as well, and it's like all that floating around in my head of what's going on as well. Doesn't help things, when other things go wrong, and it's like you just can't switch off from it. It's crazy. So there's gonna have to be some downtime from doing YouTube and Twitch as well because of that. So everything's just a big mess at the moment. It's just crazy how. I mean, this is life, isn't it? This is life. Life is one big adventure, one big challenge, and we have to get through it, don't we? And we don't have to get through it alone. That's the one thing we've all got to remember. You don't have to go through anything alone. If you need help, speak to people, and they'll speak back to you and help you understand the issues and stresses that are going on. Because we all stressed. We all suffer from mental health issues to one degree or another. You know what I mean? It's a very stressful life that we lead, especially in this day and age that we're in. And you have to try and compartmentalize things. Just don't get worked up about stuff you don't need to get worked up about. And you see it on social media each and every day. People getting worked up over absolutely nothing. I'll bring it back to video gaming, console wars. I mean, holy shit. The amount of passion some people put into defending one plastic box over another is crazy, and it must be great not having anything else to worry about in your life other than which plastic box is better. And, I'm really envious of those guys, to be honest with you, because God forbid they actually have some actual life-defining, changing issue that they would have to cope with. Yeah, you just wonder how they would actually deal with it when they get so worked up over a inanimate corporate object. It's crazy. But anyway, I've realised I've waffled on for a exorbitant amount of time here. It's but yeah, things will change in regards to the YouTube front once the house refurb is out the way, which we're probably looking at start of August. That'll be finished, and then I'm gonna have more time to devote to YouTube, health permitting. Come September as well, because Poppy will start full-time school, so she'll be at school for longer hours. So that gives me an extra 3 hours per day to do stuff, which helps, because by the time I come round and the pain eases up, it's usually the afternoon time, and that's usually when Poppy is home. So with her being at school for longer, those hours where actually are more comfortable and able to focus on things as such, I'll be able to put those moments of greater comfort into something more productive. And especially with the new setup I'm going to have as well, I'm doing a big relocation of everything in this room as well. I'll share pictures on Twitter when it's done. It's if it comes out looking like it does in my head, then it's going to be really good and going to make things really good and improve things drastically. if you stuck with me for this entire video, thank you very much. As a video I wanted to make, especially in 10 years since that packet of crisps kind of changed my life forever, really. It impacted everything from me, work, relationships, my future, everything. And that's what you're trying to have to appreciate, do not take for granted what you've got, because in a moment it can change. It can just change like that. And you have to try and adapt to the change as best you can. And the best way of doing that is by getting others to help you. You don't have to face anything alone. You don't have to deal with the problems alone. Talk to people. If you're worried about anything, if it's medical, like I mentioned before, go to your GP. Don't bury your head in the sand. That's the worst thing you can possibly do. Get the medical help. Get confirmation whether there's something wrong or not wrong. Because if you ignore it, it's still there. It's still going to be wrong or not wrong. It's just, you could be making it worse. And God forbid, go past that point of no return where you can't be helped because you've stuck your head in the sand for so long. There's nothing to be, well, there is things to be scared about, but there's nothing to be scared about going to a GP. They're there to help. And it's better to know than not know. Knowledge is power in these situations. But I hope this kind of explains how thankful I am for every single interaction I have with you guys. As I say, whether it's just a view, a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a comment, a sub over on Twitch, if you just participate in chat, if you drop me a follow, that's fantastic. It's great. It helps me enormously. It helps me cope. It helps me deal with life on a daily basis. And makes me enjoy something I enjoy even more. And the more I enjoy that thing, the better I feel. Anyway, I hope that kind of made sense. And thanks for, like I say, listening for 50 minutes. It's a long time. And yeah, thank you.